There are some stories you don't just read, you feel them right in your core. And this is definitely one of them. It's about this boy who's searching for something, and he meets these three unlikely friends. But what if, just what if, each of them, the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse, were actually just parts of you? Let's dive into that journey. Have you ever had that feeling you wake up and it's like you're just drifting? It's not really sadness, it's not quite burnout, it's more like this quiet ache, this little whisper inside that tells you something important is missing, like a piece of you got left behind somewhere. If that sounds at all familiar, then this is for you. So we're stepping into the beautiful, ink-stained world of the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse. Since it came out, this little book has become a global phenomenon, translated into over 55 languages, and it even won an Oscar for its animated film. It's so disarmingly simple, but it holds these huge universal truths. So what is it? Why does this story hit us so hard? Well, that's the big question we're going to tackle. Using the ideas of the psychologist Carl Jung as our map, we're going to see how these four characters are basically mirrors for the different fragmented parts of ourselves. And here's the key. Your struggles, that feeling of being lost, they aren't dead ends. No way. They're actually the very first steps on a journey. You'll see that ache you feel, it's not a wound, it's a compass, and it's pointing you back home. Okay, so the story begins right where our own journey does, in this big, quiet inner wilderness. And there's a boy, wandering all alone, curious, looking for a home he can't quite picture yet. That boy, that's you. He's that inner, questioning part of all of us, asking the one thing that really, truly matters. Where do I belong? So in Jung's world, this wilderness is your inner landscape. He called it the unconscious. And that feeling of being lost, that's your unconscious calling out to you, kind of nudging you to look deeper than the surface of your day-to-day life. It's the start of what Jung called individuation, which is really just the epic journey of becoming whole. But you know how it is. Life pulls us away from that inner world. We get caught up in the grind, the deadlines, the expectations from everyone. And to get by, we all wear masks. Jung had a name for this, the persona. It's useful for sure, but when we get too attached to that mask, when being fine is the only thing we let ourselves be, we lose touch with that curious boy inside. And that's exactly when the ache starts, that hollow feeling of burnout. So how do we even begin to find our way back? Well, the story gives us our first guide. We meet the mole. He's small, he's unassuming, and he is deeply, deeply in love with cake. He represents our desire, our ability to feel simple joy, and he is the absolute first step toward finding ourselves again. Seriously, this exchange is everything. We live in a world that's obsessed with big ambitions, fancy titles, you know the drill. But the mole's wisdom just cuts right through all that noise to the heart of what actually matters. The boy doesn't say, I want to be successful or powerful. He just says, kind. It's so simple and it's just so profound. From a Jungian perspective, the mole is what you'd call our anima, that little spark of life, our connection to the things that make us feel truly alive. When you're feeling burnt out, this is the part of you that you forget. You start ignoring the small things that light you up. The mole is there to remind us that those tiny joys, a great cup of coffee, your favorite song, a piece of cake, they aren't distractions. They are absolute lifelines. And this feeling of being disconnected, it's everywhere. Modern life pretty much teaches us to value productivity way more than purpose, and it just drowns out that inner voice. In fact, studies from organizations like the American Psychological Association show that a huge number of adults, we're talking as high as 68%, feel disconnected from their sense of purpose. This is the wilderness so many of us are wandering in, and it's exactly why the mole's simple wisdom is so vital. As the journey moves on, we meet someone new, a fox, and he's caught in a trap. His eyes are just sharp with fear, and his whole body is tense with mistrust. The fox is the part of you that's been hurt. It's that piece of your soul that learned a long time ago to hide behind silence just to survive. Carl Jung would call this fox your shadow. Now, it is so important to get this right. The shadow isn't evil. It's just deeply, deeply human. It's the place inside where we tuck away the pain from a bad job, a broken friendship, or all that pressure from society to be someone we're not. It's that little voice that whispers, "You're not good enough," echoing all those times you felt small or unseen. In the story, the fox is freed by the mole's simple, honest kindness. And that is our lesson. Healing the shadow isn't about fighting it or trying to get rid of it. It's about meeting it with empathy. It means you have to actually listen to your fear. Ask it, what are you afraid of? What are you trying to protect me from?
Just sit with your pain, no judgment, the way the mole sits with the fox. That's how we start to become whole again.
And then the final companion shows up. A horse. He's calm, he's steady, and there's a wisdom in his eyes that just feels like coming home. The horse is the core of your being, that quiet, powerful center that's been there all along. He's the integrated self that we are all, in our own ways, journeying toward. And the horse says what might just be the most important line in the entire book. He, the biggest and strongest one of them all, reveals that true strength isn't about being invincible. It's the incredible courage it takes to be vulnerable. It's admitting you can't do it all on your own. This integrated core is what Jung called the self. Think of it as the center of your psyche that holds everything together. The boy's longing, the mole's joy, the fox's scars, and the horse's wisdom. Burnout is what happens when we're totally cut off from this self, and the horse's wisdom is the antidote. It's that reminder that asking for help isn't a sign of failure, it's how we reclaim our wholeness. At one point, the horse reveals he actually has wings, but he kept them hidden because he was afraid of what others would think. I mean, isn't that just a brilliant metaphor for our own hidden gifts? Our creativity, our sensitivity, our biggest dreams. So often we hide them just to fit in. The horse teaches us that our vulnerability, the very thing we're most afraid to show, is actually what gives us the power to fly. So, as our four friends walk together, side by side, the wilderness around them starts to change. It's not a scary, lonely place anymore. It's a path toward belonging. This is the final stage of the journey, realizing that home isn't some place you have to find, but a state of being you create right inside yourself. When the boy asks this question, the horse's answer is really the heart of it all. Home isn't just about other people loving you. The real work is about you learning to love and accept every single piece of who you are. The curious part, the joyful part, the wounded part, and the wise part. All of it. So here they are, your inner crew. The boy is there to teach us to stay curious about our path. The mole reminds us to savor those small, sweet moments. The fox teaches us to meet our own pain with real compassion. And the horse shows us how to find our greatest strength in being vulnerable. Together, they're you, whole. If you take just one thing away from this, let it be this radical truth. It cuts through all the noise out there that's constantly telling you to be more, do more, achieve more. Your struggles aren't failures you need to fix. They are guides. They're part of your story. You are enough, right now, in this moment, exactly as you are. So you see, the goal was never to escape the wilderness. It was to learn how to walk through it with all the parts of yourself. It was about realizing that the wilderness itself has become your home, because you're finally not at war with yourself anymore. You're walking together. And so I'll just leave you with this question, because this journey doesn't have an ending. Every single day is a new chance to practice this. So, which of your inner companions needs your attention today? Is it the boy's curiosity, the mole's need for a little bit of joy, the fox's quiet pain, or the horse's steady wisdom? The choice of who you listen to, well, that's yours.